Yo, what's up, guys? You got PokeaimM here with some coverage on my subscriber draft league tournament. Basically, I stream on Twitch, and that'll actually be resuming today. If you guys want to follow me, twitch.tv/PokeaimM. And I did this subscriber draft league tournament similar to the UCL and the GBA, where my subs would have to draft and then they'd be paired up for weeks. Except I did it a little bit differently. Myself and my boy Sir Skaru, we actually organized this where their Pokemon would be randomized. So from RU, NU, PU, and NFE, like and down, pretty much. So they wouldn't really have any choice in what they draft, and the Pokemon would be, I guess you could say crap if you want to say that. Anyway, we're gonna be doing coverage on Sir Skaru's team. Or PokeaimMD's team, because he is the captain. Let me actually show you this real quick. So their team is a Shrouded Swoobats. Big shout out, by the way, to Jabberjock. Jabberjock made these logos for everybody. And they are sick. They're actually sick. So big shout out to Jabberjock. Anyway, like I said, the Pokemon were randomly drafted. So you would have 3 RU, 3 NU, 4 PU, and then 2 NFE Pokemon to work with. And a team needed a captain and then 1 extra player, because you're allowed to play and call with your team, as well as build your teams for your opponents and whatnot. And then you were put in little divisions. So Team 11, the Shrouded Swoobats, are the team that we will be following on this tournament coverage. And their team consists of PokeaimMD, so Skaru, Matt41155, and my boy Jaden. Now, again, these are all Twitch subs, so this was my Twitch sub tournament that we organized over Discord. So, yeah. In any case, their draft ended up consisting of Druddigon, Quillfish, Jolteon, Liepard, Electivire, Primeape, Go-Goat, Swoobat, Armaldo, Prinplup, Ivysaur, and Staravia. So, not a bad draft at all. They had 2 Defoggers. I'm pretty sure Staravia gets Defog. As well as a Rapid Spinner and Armaldo. They also have Stealth Rock and Spikes, as well as Toxic Spikes. They have U-Turn and Volt Switch, so they have the Volt Turn combo. Solid Stealth Rocker in Druddigon, as well as Armaldo in itself. And even Prankster T-Wave. So, very, very strong draft. It's all about luck. And anyway, in their first week, they're playing Crossface and the Denver Dracos. Hey, drop a Draco. I love how this looked, by the way. I love the division was called Never Lucky. But their team consisted of Crossface and Zind. Again, you only needed a minimum of 2 in order to compete. You might see, it might feel like, oh man, if it's 2 versus 4, how's that fair? Keep in mind, you've seen Hita Fajita when there's like 6 of us trying to talk about a move per turn, and it all gets all messed up. Whereas if it's 2 or 3, we get the move done. So it really depends. It's a blessing and a curse to have multiple people on your team, because you have to schedule when you can play. With 2 people, it's easier, especially when there's a whole bunch of different time zones. But their team consisted of Houndoom, Tyrantrum, Hitmontop, Vivillon, Garbodor, Claydol, Mothin, Cryogonal, Rampardos, Relicanth, Bryson the God, and Herdier. Now, immediately when you look at their team, they don't have a good electric resist, whereas Tyrantrum is something without reliable recovery. Same thing with Claydol, which is an immunity, not really a resist. And as you can go back to this team, they have 2 electric types. They do have Toxic Spikes, Stealth Rock, and Spikes, but they also have a few very weak to rock Pokemon like Vivillon and Mothin. They have Priority and Sucker Punch, and I guess they have T-Wave on their team as well. Herdier can learn that, and the double Dino Core right here, as well as 2 spinners. Well, 3 spinners, excuse me. They have 3 spinners. So they did have the Rock Weeks, but they do have 3 spinners. No real setup sweepers, though. I guess they have Dragon Dance, Tyrantrum, maybe Rock Polish, Rampardos. Outside of that, nothing too big. Maybe Rock Polish. Relicanth could have been an option, as well as Hitmontop. But just looking at it, it looks like the Shrouded Swoobats do have the matchup, just because of the two electric types that are definitely going to be giving the opposing team some problems. But without further ado, let's actually get into week 1, the first game. So PokeaimMD's team versus Crossface's team. They did end up bringing their Electivire as well as hazards. Quillfish is actually a very solid hazard stacker in this game because their main way of rapid spinning is Hitmontop and Claydol, and none of them appreciate water moves, specifically Scald. None of them appreciate getting burnt. Quillfish in general, nothing appreciates switching into this thing. Nothing wants to get burnt. So let's see how the game goes. So they lead off with Primeape versus Garbodor. Not the worst lead matchup. Primeape does have access to the Earthquake, and it could U-turn out of there, though I guess Garbodor could be hacking the Rocky Helmet. So ends up going right for the Earthquake as they go right for the Gunk Shot and do not get the KO. It looks to me that that could be Banded Primeape, but I think later it turns out that that is Special Defensive Garbodor, which makes sense for like Electivire and Jolteon. Anyway, MomsyDig pulls a nice double out into Staraptor. Very solid play because it covers the only switch in that Crossface really could make on an Earthquake. Nothing else really wanted to take it. Obviously, Tyrantrum's weak to it. Houndoom wouldn't appreciate the damage. And then Hitmontop just gives a switch into Quillfish. So, made a nice double onto Staravia. They're going to go right for the U-turn. I think that's Scarf damage as they're able to go right onto Armaldo. Again, another solid play because they can rapid spin away the hazards. I guess that's actually offensive Claydol because he goes right for the Life Orb Ice Beam as Armaldo is able to come in. And Armaldo can go for the knockoff. Solid play getting rid of Claydol's Life Orb. Also, knocking it out most likely, but Herdier does throw off a T-Wave right here as Quillfish is going to come out. If I was MomsyDig, I think that turn I would have thrown off a Scald as opposed to going for the spike right there, but we never know what he did because he did get fully paralyzed. I'm just going to put the speed on normal. Hitmontop comes out, goes right for the fake out as we see the Rocky Helmet. And he's going to go right out to Staravia. Really good play on MomsyDig's part. My boy predicted the Earthquake right there very nicely. And he is going to go right for the U-turn once again, trying to keep him momentum. He doesn't want Tyrantrum to come in and potentially get up a Dragon Dance. And it's more likely that Hitmontop is going to switch out. And the great thing about that U-turn play was a very solid play. The great thing about that play is that even if Hitmontop stayed in, it just gave him a switch to Quillfish to get off more Rocky Helmet damage or Druddigon. So it was a very solid play on his part. Evire is going to come out, going to go right for the Volt Switch, and this is where we find out that this Garbodor was especially defensive because that Volt Switch does absolutely nothing as he is able to go out into Armaldo. And Crossface just trying to get off that damage with the Gunk Shot, trying to get rid of the electric types as well as the Primeape that could plague him. He's going to get up a Spike right here as Momsy decides to get up his Stealth Rock. I think this is a better trade-off for Momsy though. Though we do see the Toxic, which means that Leftovers is going to prevent Armaldo from actually effectively spinning, and the Toxic is going to wear him down. That does put him on a timer, so he will be able to get up a Spike right here as Momsy's just going to choose to go right for the Earthquake. Good play because honestly he could not really knock him out right there, I would say anyway. But Tyrantrum is going to come out. Head Smash is coming, and the thing is, with that Gunk Shot damage on Primeape, nothing tanks this. Nothing tanks this, especially if this thing is banded. Even if it's Scarf, nothing will appreciate a hit. So Quillfish is going to come out, going to go right for the Head Smash. They do get a crit, so we don't get to find out if this thing is Scarf or banded just yet because of the crit knocking them out. I don't think it mattered though, unless you risk the second miss or anything like that. But Primeape is going to come out and Primeape is going to go right for the U-turn. Again, really risky play, but it's going to work out. Momsy recognizes that his opponent cannot sack his Tyrantrum. It's his Wing Con spamming Outrage. So he's going to U-turn out into his Druddigon. His Herdier is going to come out. And he's actually going to double out into his Armaldo. This is an ample opportunity, excuse me, to go right for the Rapid Spin. It's a no drawback Rapid Spin right here. It looks to be a Thunder Waving, maybe protecting Herdier to stall out with Toxic damage. With T-Spikes more likely, with Baby Doll Eyes, so it is a Toxic stalling one. Garbodor might have had Toxic Spikes right there. I like the turn 17 where Momsy actually decided to go for the Earthquake. That was a very solid play in my opinion because the Rapid Spin was very predictable right there, and if I was cross-facing in the back, I probably would switch out to Tyrantrum on the Rapid Spin just to get that thing in. Excuse me, I didn't mean to mess this up. But just to get that thing in and to start pounding at him. So very solid play going for the Earthquake, though it didn't necessarily work out for him. But he does take an opportunity to Rapid Spin as he is now going to go out to Druddigon because if Herdier wants to go for Crunch, it's going to be taking the Rough Skin damage as well as the Rocky Helmet, it seems. Although they do get the defense drop, I don't think that matters too much. However, he doesn't want to get Thunder Wave, so doubles right back out into Electivire, being immune to that Thunder Wave. It actually turns out they don't have Motor Drive. I think Thunder Wave would have raised the special attack or excuse me, raise the speed with Motor Drive, but I think they have Vital Spirit on their Electivire because Thunder Wave obviously did not work. So, gonna go right for the Earthquake right there. As it does absolutely nothing, and it turns out that this Electivire is more than likely E-Belt because he's able to follow through with a Thunderbolt. Earthquake made sense there though because it covered the Tyrantrum switch, which is the scariest Pokemon across Face's team at the moment. So him on top is going to come out as he's just going to sack Armaldo right here to the Fake Out plus potentially Close Combat or Earthquake, as Earthquake is going to be able to knock him out. However, at this point, Staravia can come in. I believe it's Scarf Staravia as well, and it can go right for the Brave Bird and knock out the Hitmontop, as this does allow either Houndoom or Tyrantrum to want to come out. Now, Houndoom is going to come out, and you could go right for the Brave Bird right here. It makes sense because it prevents like a potential nasty plot Sucker Punch set from coming out, which actually would be terrible like to face right here. Electivire is going to come out though, and it's just going to go right for the Earthquake because I will be able to pick off Houndoom, and his last Pokemon is the Tyrantrum, and it's good that Electivire was in because obviously between Earthquake and Rough-Skin in the back, this Tyrantrum wouldn't be able to set up even if it was set up. But it's going to go right for the Outrage, and it turns out this is Scarf Primate. I believe that was Scarf Tyrantrum, as they said in the chat. And Primate is able to come through. And yeah, Crossface actually said I thought it was banned, but I realized Zin sent me a special defensive Garbodor. So that was game 1 of the tournament coverage. And let's actually go back to here. So week 2, they end up playing the Portland Crawdons. Now, again, love what Jabberjaw drew. But they have Trevin Sneasel, Electros, Lilligant, Abomasnow, Almastar, Beartic. What do you have for a well-played Beartic? Beartic, Masquerain, Fione, Blossom, Luxray, and Pignite. So definitely an interesting team. They do have the Shell Smash opportunity right here. Swords Dance and Abomasnow, even Scarf Abomasnow. Maybe they can use Sticky Webs as well. Potentially rain support from Freon for Beartic if he wants to use Swift Swim. And then Lilligant is definitely an issue. But again, looking at the matchup, again, this is a lot of luck involved with these things. But the fact that Evire has access to Flamethrower, Vital Spirit, and Thunderbolt, that just hits pretty much everything on our opponent's team. So let's actually just see how they do this time. So again, this is the Shrouded Swoobats versus the Portland Crawdons. And we do see that they did bring the Sticky Web with more than likely Shell Smash, Almastar, and Abomasnow. However, they do have Defiant. Wow, I forgot the name of this thing for a second. Defiant Primate as well as Defog on the Primplup. But let's see how they choose to lead and play out this match. So Primate is the lead of choice, as his opponent is going to lead off with Abomasnow. Great lead if this is Bandit or Scarf, because it immediately threatens Abomasnow with the close combat, but he can also safely throw off a Stone Edge since his only resistance to fighting, which is another big thing about his team, is Masquerain, which doesn't have, it's more than likely like the Focus Sash lead set. So gonna go right for it. What it looks like the Bandit close combat right here, as that is gonna be able to clean knock out Luxio, and that is just turn 1, 6-5 for the Shrouded Swoobats. So Masquerain is gonna come out, get off and Intimidate. Again, he probably didn't want to risk the Stone Edge right there, as the Sticky Web is going to go up. However, with Hail potentially breaking a Sash on Masquerain and Electivire being in, he can just throw off a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt. Looks like he might be Specs Volt Switch, as he is able to knock out the Masquerain. His Light Part is going to come out. Light Part's a really good mon, because had he went out to like Almastar and tried to Shell Smash, he could obviously Encore, but this also allows him to get off a knockoff on something. So he knocks off the Electivire, or excuse me, the Electros's Assault Vest, as Electros is going to reveal the Super Fang. And right here you would expect maybe a move like Volt Switch or Thunderbolt to come out. So they do go out to Electivire, and it looks like they did pack the Vital Spirit Electivire. I'm pretty sure that's the ability that I know that it gets the ability that doesn't allow it to be asleep. I think it's Vital Spirit, and it's cool that they packed that, because this definitely has like some sort of move for Lilligant. They were definitely scared of Lilligant, so the Almastar is going to come out. It is going to outspeed in the Sticky Web and go right for the Earth Power, and that's going to be able to knock him out. This Almastar is actually a threat. However, as long as Primplup stays at a good amount of HP, I don't think it can do too much. So Primplop is going to come out, and it's actually going to throw off a Toxic, or excuse me, a Defog first, which is the smarter play, because now Primate outspeeds the entire team, as Primplop is going to go right for the Giga Drain. Oh, excuse me, Vomsnow is going to go right for the Giga Drain, as Primplop is able to get up his Stealth Rock right here, and that breaks any potential sashes on a on Amistar or Beartic, and that just allows the Primate to just come through and click close combat. At this point, the Fight and Resist are gone. They barely had Fight and Resist to begin with. And everything that could potentially take a close combat is low. The Beartic is going to come out, and there is the chance that this Beartic could have the Aqua Jets, so they are going to scout for it by sacking the Liepard. Very, very solid play on their part, not sacking their win con, as they are going to be 2-hit KO'd by the Aqua Jet. However, they can go right out into Druddigon right now, and Druddigon, if it is offensive, is another Pokemon that prevents the Amistar from setting up. It looks like they did have the Achi Barrier. Unfortunately, they do flinch right there. However, Sucker Punch is going to come out, as the second Icicle Crash is going to miss, and that just means that it was just some immediate justice right there. They're able to knock him out with the second Sucker Punch. Now, this Amistar is not Lumberry, and they do choose to Glare right here. If they do have it, it will prevent the sweep, but they do go right for the Earthquake, which makes sense because Earthquake into Sucker Punch would have been able to knock out Amistar had it Shell Smashed up, as they are going to reveal their Jolteon's moveset, which I thought was super cool. They go right for Shadow Ball because it hits, it knocks out Amistar, but it also hits neutral on the Electros, and I love that they were Quick Feet Jolteon. They were thinking a step ahead. This allows them to deal with Sticky Web because they do get the speed boost from Quick Feet, and that was just so cool, as Jolteon is just going to be able to clean up, and that is going to be the game. And I love how they have Shadow Ball and Second Wave. They pretty much had perfect coverage versus their team. So that is week 2. Now, unfortunately, week 3 was forfeited versus Quirtip's team. But week 4, this is the semifinals, because again, this was a really, really quick league. This is the semifinals versus the Boston Base Lords, Mordegon's team. And again, let me just show you their team. The Boston Base Lords. Look at this. Look at this clap. It looks so sick. But consisting of Mordegon and Atrix, and their team consists of Aromatisse, Delphox, Drapion, Tauros, Magmortar, Ludicolo, Mightyena, Hypno, Babero, Pikachu, Popstar, Pupitar, and Duosion. So definitely some cool options right here. They have the option of Trick Room, they have Rain Dance, they have Swords Dance, Sweep Ring, and Drapion, Calm Mind, and Delphox, Tauros, with the Life Orb, Sheer Force, and even Sucker Punch priority on Mightyena, as well as Curse Babero potentially doing something. So they had a lot of cool options right here, and again, no real electric resist, and that's the thing that I feel that Moms' team, again, it was luck based on what they got, but that's the thing that I feel that they really had going for them. The fact that there are no electric resists at all going on. I mean, they do have, obviously, Pikachu, but that's not a resist when it's being 2-hit KO'd. So, again, let's just go right back out to the game. Now, they ended up bringing Aromatisse, Delphox, Drapion, Tauros, Ludicolo, and Mightyena. So this could be some sort of Rain Dance Ludicolo, which would be an issue for this team, though. At the end of the day, none of the team really sets up on anything. Like, even Primplop could have Toxic to wear down the Ludicolo and stop its sweep. And between Druddigon and Primplop, they can switch back and forth. So I think I was going to say, I think Primate would be a cool lead versus this guy, because if it is Scarf Primate, it pretty much outspeeds the entire team. However, they ended up leading off Quillfish, which was a good lead versus Drapion, Tauros, Mightyena, and Aromatisse, so definitely a good lead. They do have to definitely switch out, though, because the Psychic might be incoming, so goes right for the Will-O-Wisp, and unfortunately misses turn 1 on the incoming Primplop. Very, very bad for them, as Primplop is not even going to throw off Rocks or a Scald. They're just going to go right for the Toxic, trying to land it on the Ludicolo, putting that thing on a timer. Very solid play. Unfortunately, the Will-O-Wisp miss sucked because it did wear down the Primplop, but that Toxic was very solid because they acknowledged the fact that Ludicolo is a threat and a half, and it's definitely coming in, so they put that thing on a timer. Set up the Rain Dance as Druddigon is going to come out. They're going to double right back out into Primplop, though, just to wear this thing down, expecting the Ice Beam right there, and they're actually going to end up switching right back out into the Druddigon on the expected Giga Drain, as Mortrix makes a very, very solid play, goes for the double Ice Beam, though at this point Ludicolo is in range of the potential Sucker Punch, and Momsy's going to hit him with a good play of their own, going to predict them to fear the Sucker Punch and switch out, going to get up those Stealth Rock, and there's no defogger on your opponent's side of the field, so very, very solid move on their part, as they are going to throw off a Wish with this Aromatisse and actually end up passing it into Delphox. A little bit risky because I think with the Stealth Rock damage, Ludicolo would have been in range of the Waterfall, but more likely wrecking Scald anyway. But they're able to get the Stealth Rock and the Spike, and this is going to be here for the entirety of the game, as Prinplup is going to come out. Now, this is where I guess missing the Duelist sucked, because it would have been down about maybe 30-40% more. But in any case, Prinplup is going to come out, going to throw off a Scald, as Ludicolo is going to be sacked. However, this does allow Tauros to come out and go for the Rock Climb, most likely, as Judgeigon is going to come in, though it is the Retaliate that they do have, so that definitely would have been able to knock out. Well, actually, I'm not sure if Retaliate works via hazards, but you guys can let me know in the chat. But either way, Tauros is going to go right for the Retaliate again, as Staravia is going to come out. No flying resist, so they were free to go right for the Brave Bird right there. I think it might have been Scarf Tauros because it did outspeed the Staravia. And Momsy really does fancy running the... wow, I really just said that. They really like running the Scarf Staravia. So not wanting to give Mighty Anna the Moxie boost, they are going to go out to Qwilfish just to get off the Intimidate and cover pretty much all switches. Right here they could go for Scald, but I think they choose to go for Spikes. Yep, just because it puts Delphox and Mighty Anna, like they have less switch-ins now, as they are just going to throw off Scalds right here, as Mortrix actually ended up going for the knockoff, more than likely predicting the Staravia to want to come out to dodge the Earthquake, but they knew they could tank it, as they are able to get up all 3 layers of Spike and also Destiny Bomb, which is a really cool play, because if Mortrix actually chooses to attack them, I like this play a lot because they go Staravia, right? More than likely expecting Drapion to try and Swords Dance up just to avoid the KO by Destiny Bond. So they go Staravia, which is more likely Scarf, and it is Reckless Scarf Brave Bird. It might have been able to knock out Drapion, but I do also like the fact that they save the Qwilfish, because the Mighty Anna could be an issue, but as long as they keep Primeape at a good amount of HP, which actually is not what happens right here, because the Earthquake fails to KO. Looks like it was Extra Belt. It fails to KO, as Drapion is going to go down right there, as Jolteon is able to come out. And at this point, if this is Specs Jolteon, everything is being 2-hit KO'd easily. They go right forward. The Thunderbolt that looks like Specs damage is doing 54%, as Aromatisse is able to Wish Up. And what they can do is go right out into Primeape. Cool play, because this allows them to go for either Poison Jab or a Gunk Shot if they do have it. And it also forces Aromatisse to more than likely attack it, because it's going to be worn down by this, as unfortunately Poison Jab does get the poison. However, that did not matter at all, because Mortrix did not end up going for the Wish, which means that after that Poison Jab recovery, it was cool that they had the Kebia Berry to weaken poison moves, but after that Poison Jab damage, Specs Jolteon's Thunderbolt will be able to knock it out. Delphox, I do not think it's Scarf, because it is running the Will-O-Wisp, so Mighty Anna is going to come out. Sucker Punch is not able to pick up the KO, as they are able to knock it out with the Thunderbolt, and Delphox is going to be their last Pokemon. And even if this thing did not go down, it needed like Scarf Crit Psychic to knock him out. If it was Scarf, then it definitely had a chance right here, because it would knock out Jolteon, and it would really come down to... Honestly, if it was Scarf, I think that they would have won, because if they hit the Will-O-Wisp, of course. If it was Scarf Will-O-Wisp, if they hit that Will-O-Wisp, the Prim level would be a lot lower. But Momsy, Sirskaru, they're all coming through right now, with Matt and Jaden definitely coming through, and they actually made it to the finals. Now, the finals is a best-of-3 game. The finals was a best-of-3 game because we wanted to do something different for the finals, and they're playing the Amsterdam Ampharos, which Count Riario and Phantos 13 made it to. So they have a really, really cool team with Hitmonlee, Aerodactyl, Alamola, Vigoroth, Throw, Poliwrath, any Castform form, Volbeat, Kingler, Mischievous, Grovyle, and Frogadier. So again, no electric immunity, and that's that thing that I feel, I mean, they do have Grovyle, but it's not a real one. It's not a real one. But I think that's the thing that really, really just, coupled with like good prep, that really helped the Shrouded Swoorbats make it to the finals. But again, this is a best of 3, so there will be 2 games. Let's get right into it. So they ended up bringing the Alamola core, more than likely Wish passing. Hitmonlee is a good call, because it is something that can take a Thunderbolt from Jolteon and Electivire. The Shrouded Swoorbats are actually revealing their Go-Go this time, and let's see how the game ends up going. So let me turn off this music. So it's going to be Jolteon versus Poliwrath lead. Very, very solid lead. They ended up going right for the Protect, so I'm assuming they are... Yep, they're Toxic Orb, which allows them to always outspeed the Aerodactyl, as well as Scarf users on the team, and always be able to Thunderbolt them. So pretty cool call. Not sure if I would have done that myself, simply because they simply because I think Specs would have just done the job a lot better. But who knows? Maybe this would be better for them if they had like a Scarf user. But they are going to be able to Volt Switch on out of there as the throw is going to come out. I'm not sure if that Polygraph was Assault Vest or what type of Polygraph it was. It probably could have been able to take a Thunderbolt if anything, but they're able to Volt Switch on out of there into their Quillfish. And this Quillfish is going to be an issue because the Defogger and Rapid Spinner on their team, which is Aerodactyl, and Hitmonlee are weak to either being burnt or weak to Scald, which would be Aerodactyl. But they go hard into Aerodactyl to be able to double out into Polygraph. Really cool play because had Quillfish went for the water move right there, it allowed them to get that water absorb recovery, but ended up doubling out into Prinplup, which does allow them to get up our Stealth Rock, as Throw is going to come out. And this Throw could be an issue if it's bulk up Rest Talk, because even Quillfish, which will be worn down by Hitmonlee and Aerodactyl, because that's the main switching, especially the fact that they just knocked off its recovery right there. So if it's not packing Pain Split either, this Quillfish is in for a run, but they're going to go hard into Aerodactyl on the Toxic. So Quillfish does reveal the Toxic, so had they went Polygraph right there, it would have been bad for them, but Aerodactyl is more than likely Defog because we see leftovers on it, so it's definitely Defog, yep. So we see the Defog right here as Johnny is able to get rid of the Stealth Rock as well as the Spike. As Prinplup is going to come out, this definitely threatens them. They're going to go out to Polygraph just to absorb the water move, as Prinplup is going to get up the Stealth Rock, as well as, that looks like banded damage. That actually looks like banded damage. I think we calc that later. That was banded damage, so banded Polygraph. Probably a lot of HP as well to be able to take Jolteon's hit, but they do throw off a Toxic, as Boner is going to come out the Alamola, and they're going to pull a nice double onto Go-Go. Pretty much avoided the Earthquake. They probably knew it was banded just based on the calc, and Go-Go can also be a threat if it is bulk up, but goes right for the Horn Leech as Throw is going to come out, and Throw takes absolutely nothing. Throw is just a thing that's stopping Jolteon from just clicking Thunderbolt and just wailing on their team. So Throw reveals the Circle Throw as that is going to get the Prinplup out of there, excuse me, the Quillfish out of there, and bring in the Prinplup. This does allow them to either knock off its item or go for a rest. They do go for another Circle Throw, just weakening Staravia. I guess they didn't want Quillfish to come in and just get weakened even more by the knockoff or even the Circle Throw, as they are able to knock off Golgoat's Assault Vest. I guess that was their option of dealing with Frogadier, so that's pretty cool. Leaf Fade is going to come through doing 30%, so it is going to force this Throw to reveal the rest right now. And wow, I'm just thinking about it, like how this Jolteon is just looking like such a threat, especially if this Throw doesn't get good Sleep Talks right there, because it does go right for the Sleep Talk. It pulls the rest as they're just spamming Leaf Blade. Now Leaf Blade does have a high crit ratio, and as you can see, they did just get a crit right there. So that Throw, not only does it get double rest, but it's also in range of being double critted and going down. This is their main way of stopping the Jolteon. So expecting them to want to rest right here, probably playing off the fact that they shouldn't be crit. Honestly, that was their only play. They had to go for the rest and hope not to be crit. They are going to pull a double out into the Staravia, and they're going to go right for the U-turn. That does absolutely nothing. Why did the Rocky Helmet do more than the U-turn to the Alamola, as they're able to bring out their Jolteon? Now, the Quick Feet was pretty cool innovation because it does allow them to outspeed. However, if this Alamola did have the Protect, it would also mean that Jolteon is going to be worn down, and unfortunately for this Throw, it just cannot catch a break because there is going to be a crit Thunderbolt coming out right there. Now, Jolteon goes for the Volt. It's really solid play on PokeaimMD's part because it doesn't risk the Sleep Talk like crit or knock off or Volt Switch, as they just cannot get your break right here. They Sleep Talk or rest one more time, and if they didn't get the Circle Throw, that would have been bad. So they go out to Hitmonlee on the Leaf Blade. Hitmonlee does not appreciate that at all. However, it can definitely threaten them with the banded high jump kick if it wants to go for that, or even Life Orb, as they, even though they're in the back, they make a really nice play and predict the Quillfish, and this might just allow, if it is Healing Wish Alamola, this might allow Hitmonlee to come through later on. Staravia is going to come out, as it is going to go right for the Quick Attack and just pick them off. They probably had Sucker Punch or Mach Punch right there, but Staravia is able to come out and pick them off. It wouldn't have been able to get out with the Mach Punch or Sucker Punch anyway, just because of the Intimidate, but the Polygraph is going to come out. It is going to freeze Prinplup with the Ice Punch. This is a really cool turn because it forces them to go for Scald right here in order to thaw, as they do go right for that Scald. So in theory, I guess Polygraph could have stayed in if it wasn't banded, but again, another crit on Throw. It cannot just catch a break at all, as the second Scald is able to knock it out, and Yeah, it just cannot catch a break at all. So Prinplup is going to allow itself to be toxic right here and just put that Alamola on a timer with the toxic. Without leftovers recovery, the fact that it's running Rocky Helmet, it's just not going to be appreciating this at all. As Frogadier is going to come out and Prinplup is going to end up revealing the rest right now. So this thing could single-handedly stall out the rest of the team, in my opinion, depending on what the Frogadier's moveset is, but Prinplup can definitely take any hit from Frogadier. It's just going to go right for the, it's just going to stay resting, as Polygraph does reveal the Endeavor. I think, honestly, if it is like Scarf, Frogadier with Ice Beam, it does have a chance of winning, which is why it has to go for Endeavor right here. But they are just going to rest and stall it out because this Polygraph is on a timer, and it is going to go down to Toxic eventually. But like I said, if it is Scarf Frogadier with Ice Beam, they do have a chance to win. So they probably acknowledge that right there, so they're going to switch out into their Staravia, and this allows them to just go right for the U-turn and knock out the Polygraph because it is in range of that U-turn after the poison damage and go right out into Jolteon. Now, again, I think Scarf Frogadier would be like the only thing that could potentially come through right here. They are going to go out into Alamola, which can definitely take a hit. They reveal, they don't reveal the Protect right here, so they go right for Volt Switch as Go-Go is going to come out and they reveal the Mirror Coat. So okay, Go-Go is going to go down. Had they went out to Prinplup and it had been Scarf, again, Frogadier, I'm just talking about ways they could potentially win. That definitely would have helped them with the Ice Beam sweep. But Thunderbolt is going to be able to pick off the Alamola right there as Aerodactyl is going to come out. It is a potential speed tie, though I think they might be bulkier. Actually, it's not a speed tie at all because they do have the quick feet, so they are going to be able to outspeed it and go right for Thunderbolt. And again, pretty much they needed Jolteon to go down ever because quick feet would allow it to outspeed Scarf Frogadier. But Thunderbolt is just going to be able to clean. And again, they're able to get up 1-0 in the finals. So again, this is a best of 3, and we do have the second game right now. They did switch it up a bit. Brought Grovyle this time, but the Shrouded Swoobatz, again, acknowledging the fact that they do not have an electric, just brought the dual electric core, and this might just be too much. So let's see how this game ends up being. So Electivire lead versus the Volbeat lead. Not a terrible lead at all. It can't be Thunder Wave or anything like that. If that thing does pack Thunder Wave, I think pretty sure it does, but they go right for the Flamethrower as Aerodactyl is going to come out. Very, very risky play, but it definitely worked out for them because it does threaten them with the Earthquake. Not wanting to lose pretty much their best Mon on the team, that and Jolteon. They're going to go out to Qwilfish as the Grovyle double is made. Very solid play as well. More than likely predicting Qwilfish to want to come out as they're able to go for sub, avoiding a potential Thunder Wave as well. As a Spike is going to go up, however, they can go right for the Leech Seed right here. I'm pretty sure it's Sub Seed. Yep. As unfortunately they missed on Staravia. Now that really sucks because obviously it would have just been recovery and a little bit of HP down on Staravia. However, it does have the U-turn, so it wouldn't have made too much of a difference because Staravia would have gotten out of there, and they only would have been at 86% at the end of the turn. However, Primeape, or they would have been at more at the end of the turn, almost near full, but Primeape is going to be able to come out. It's going to go right for the U-turn. That looks like Banded damage, maybe Scarf. I'm not sure on the damage calcs on Volbeat, but Jolteon is going to be able to come out, and this thing is going to reveal the Prankster trick with the Iron Ball, and that's super cool. Not only does it slow down one of the biggest threats to their team, but it also means that the Specs is gone, so they even can't hit as hard. But really nice double out between Electivire and Jolteon, maybe trying to trick it as they're going to go right for the Tailwind. Maybe trying to get that trick back, which is why they went right back out into Jolteon. But Tailwind is going to be what comes out, and they are locked in to that. So they're able to go out to Judgeigon right here. Judgeigon shouldn't go down to even an Ice Beam from Frogadier, depending on the calc, but they are going to go right out into Jolteon, which makes sense. Seeing as how it's extremely slow now due to the Iron Ball, but they're able to U-turn it out of there into the Aerodactyl. This does allow them to either knock them out with the Earthquake or go for the Defog, as they choose to go for Earthquake, which is probably the better play because you don't want to risk this Jolteon. It's pretty much fodder now that it's super slow. It can't outspeed anything. Tailwind is going to end. As Judgeigon is going to be able to come out, and I'm expecting them to exchange rocks, but they do reveal the Sheer Force Thunder Punch that is able to knock out Aerodactyl, as Frogadier is going to come out. Frogadier, because it's not Life Orb, it won't be able to knock him out, but the Sucker Punch just knocks out Frogadier. Good lord. Sucker Punch actually just straight up KO'd without Life Orb at all. So I thought it was Sheer Force Life Orb, because you see Thunder Punch, you expect it to be Life Orb Sheer Force boosted, because obviously Sheer Force gets rid of the Life Orb damage, but then we don't see a Life Orb hit on the Sucker Punch. That had to be hasty Frogadier, definitely. As Hitmonlee is going to come out. If I was them, I would not stay in. We do have the Qwilfish, which is pretty much the best check to this thing. Maybe Agility Kingler could come through at the end right here, but it is bulk up. It is bulk up Hitmonlee, so it's sub bulk up Hitmonlee most likely because it does see the leftovers. We do see the sub right here, so if they don't have Haze, this could be an issue. Scald does not break the sub, so this is definitely a way they can come back. Definitely a way they can come back, especially if they bulk up enough. That way they can knock out everything and take U-turns. If they had the Earthquake as well, that would definitely help them. But Quillfish is going to switch out as Staravia is going to come out. And very, very solid play going out to Staravia. Because if it is Scarf, either way it outspeeds this thing. Because it's more likely Scarf. They always run Scarf. But Brave Bird will be able to break the sub. And Staravia will go down to the knockoff right there. However, this does reveal, this does leave Hitmonlee exposed. And if this Primeape is actually Choice Banded, it will be able to knock him out. So, looks like it is CC Primeape, or obviously it looks like it's close combat Primeape, but it looks like it is actually Bandit Primeape, as it is able to pick up the KO onto the Hitmonlee, as Kingler is going to come out, and it is Agility Kingler. However, it might be Life Orb, and the Crab Hammer is going to be able to knock out Primeape. However, it was Life Orb, and the Shrouded Swoobats are able to win 2-0 in the finals. There's another Pokemon. Well, at this point, Grovyle cannot deal with Druddigon, I think. Though, as you can see right there, the Dragon Claw. My bad. I didn't realize. I thought Grovyle died. But it is Synthesis. However, I don't think that's enough recovery with the Dragon Claw and the Leech Seed up there. And they do have Electivire in the back with the Flamethrower, which at any given point could just go for that. So they lose nothing just by spamming the Dragon Claw. Yeah, I feel like I just took away the hype, but they do get a crit. I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't going to recover enough. They could definitely stall it out of the Synthesis, since Synthesis only has 8 PP, and at the same time, Electivire was in the back with the Flamethrower, which would be able to knock out Grovyle anyway, at whatever range it came out. So the Shrouded Swoobats end up winning 2-0 in the finals, and very, very well played on their part. Definitely getting the double electric type on the draft was so good for them. Again, it was luck based on the draft, but just getting Electivire and Jolteon just helped them in their division so much. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this tournament coverage. I hope to do more Twitch draft leagues in the future. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.